Hey, this is Heidi Lynch.
And I'm Perrie Voss. And this is Avocado Toast, the series podcast.
Our web series was inspired by our real life experiences,
The great ones
and the heartbreaking ones. And our podcast series is inspired by the community around us, the people we collaborate with, the people who lift us up, the people who listen when things aren't going so well and celebrate when things are.
And in our podcast, we wanted to reach out and chat with other artists and creators to find out what makes them tick, what inspires them,
what drives them,
what brings them joy.
We hope that they inspire you as much as they inspired us.
Enjoy. Today, Perrie chats with Alexander Nunez, who plays Jordan on Avocado Toast the series, creator and actor. Hi, Alexander Nunez.
Hello, Perrie.
How are you?
I'm doing really, really good. How are you doing?
I'm really good. So, Alex, you played Jordan in Avocado Toast the series.
I did.
And I've been talking to a couple other people about how amazing it is that you came in as an actor role with like 5 lines and you just wowed the pants off of our entire team. And we were like, we need to get this boy more lines. so yeah, it's been a real pleasure to like do that and then kind of accelerate you as a part of our show going into season 2.
Yeah, thank you. It's been really, really cool. I honestly wasn't expecting to be as involved and also as emotionally invested as I think I am about Avocado Toast now. It's really, really crazy. And it was my agent that was like, yeah, it seems like a really good time. It looks good. The audition was 2 lines. And I was sort of like, okay, I have no idea what the show's about. I think I'm an assistant. It'll be like a nice like 1-day thing and I'll like go home.
Yeah.
And then for the callback, I really was convinced I just like didn't get it. I felt so anytime I'm in a room with like a bunch of adults, I forget that I am one too and I feel like 12 years old.
I can relate to that so hard.
Yeah, I felt like so like, oh my God, I have to like shake everybody's hand. I'm happy it worked out. I was really happy.
It was amazing though. Like you embodied exactly what we were looking for, which we just kept being like, be more subservient, be more subservient. Like,
meeker.
You know nothing. And yeah, you just brought it. And then I think what we were blown away with when you came on set was your incredible ability to improvise and like so I can't remember who was saying this the other day, but like someone I was interviewing was like the confidence to just like throw out some improvisation on the day with us, whereas like I was like, good thing it was amazing because that could have gone could have been like, shut this guy up and get him off.
Yeah. And that's what I'm like always afraid of. And I don't even know what it really was about Avocado Toast. I almost never do that.
Oh my God.
On set, unless someone has come up to me prior and went, hey, we're gonna just like have fun on this one.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't even know why I did that. I think I was at a point where I was like, you know what? They're not gonna use this shit anyway, and I'm just gonna keep talking until director Sam Coyle, comes up to me and just tells me to stop. And then she did it.
No, but none of us did because we were like, what is this gold coming out of his mouth? We need more of this. And almost all of it made it in. And it was, it was the whole reason that we just were like, okay, we're going to upgrade you to principal so you can just say whatever you want. And it was a huge reason why, like, and seeing your other work, why we wanted to have you as a writer on season 2, because
thank you.
Bringing the gold. So yeah, so that's another really exciting thing to have you as a team.
That I was really surprised about too. Because I honestly, it's something that I feel like in this industry, you're really supposed to be selling yourself all the time.
Yeah.
And sort of marketing to everybody, all your peers, what you're doing, what you've been doing. And I'm just so bad at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's because, I grew up learning to be, super humble. Even when you're doing really, really well, like you shouldn't be telling people.
Yeah.
And the only reason I even showed you guys my short was because I just thought it was sort of, it could have sort of been related
Mm-hmm.
to Avocado Toast.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like the first day, right? Like my first fitting, and you and Heidi were there. And I just was like, yeah, this Jordan character reminds me of like this thing I did. It's my short. It's called Diversity Hire. And I do like a little, like a job interview.
Yeah.
And I left that day like that was totally inappropriate.
Oh
I
my
don't know if, yeah, like I am, because the thing is too, like, I feel like you were pretty busy that day. So I spent a lot of my time talking to Heidi. But Heidi, I think when you don't know her right away,
Mm-hmm.
she's very like reserved. She's, very much an introvert.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I was like, professional lady. And I walked out like, oh my God, like, I can't believe that I just like did that shit. Just like whipped out my phone. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But I'm glad you guys liked it. I'm
We
glad you
loved it.
guys had faith in me to help with season 2.
We loved it. And I think just speaking about that, like from the actor experience, because this is the first time that I've been on the other side of the camera in a large scale, like in the way that I was able to like help cast and have some opinion on that. And I think what I realized is that like when you make a decision to cast somebody, you are so excited to have that person say yes and to come and do the thing that you made. So
Yeah.
like you sitting there and being like, oh, like I remember also sitting at my computer being like very busy and like wanting to just sit and chat with you, and I just had no time.
Yeah.
But I remember just like beaming. I was just so excited you were there. I was like, oh my God, yes, share this stuff with us. Like it just, so yeah, I think it's like a good lesson to remember that when people hire you, they're like doing backflips internally.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I actually, it's so funny. I've been doing this for like 8 years, but I actually learned so much from Avocado Toast. Just in terms of that, just being on the show was a great reminder that it really is a collaborative experience. And even if you are the one being casted, you always have stuff to bring to the table, and you never have to feel nervous or like subservient. What you offer, you're there because of what you have to offer. And it was a great reminder of that, just being on that show. It was a huge surprise to even be sort of bumped up to principal. They were like, they want to fucking hear my annoying voice, like they want to hear me talk more. Maybe a mistake, but okay, they can always edit everything out and just have me be silent.
No, it was brilliant. And like, yeah, I mean, I just love the level that you got to with that last bar scene that we did together. Was that your last day with us? Where
I think that was my last day.
And you just went like full hog and with that like redheaded slut line that just slays me every time. And yeah, it's just, yeah. So I can't wait for people to see your Jordan's journey in season 2, because I think we've sort of taken that and then just really fleshed it out into a huge, beautiful character arc.
Yeah, I'm super excited for season 2. Not that, season 1, when it came out, I really got to watch it as an audience member. I was like pleasantly surprised with what I did, but then just being principal and just getting to watch you guys, just you and Heidi and all the other series regulars, it genuinely made me a real fan of the show.
Cool.
But then, getting the offer to write for season 2 and having Jordan sort of come back as an actual series regular, it just had me so excited to let people in beyond the sort of super weird, always turtleneck wearing character, and have him turn into, someone who's like really fleshed out with, vulnerabilities and wants and needs. As wildly excited as I am to get back into it and to just like do dumb stuff that makes people laugh, I think getting to see his vulnerable side is going to be really exciting.
I totally agree. And I think just thinking about that, like, and writing it initially, like, I think what you ended up bringing to the part is the reason that we wanted to see more of that. And it really was meant as just like the initial thing was like a catalyst for sort of like helping understand Patricia's character and the relationship between Patricia and Al. And
Mhm.
you brought to it just elevated the whole thing. And like, I think just, I was like, who is this guy? You know, and I want to know more about this character and, you know, why he's here and why he's putting up with this. Because before it was
Yeah.
written as like, who, you know, just it's a laugh and it's funny and it adds to
Yeah.
the tension and the stakes for the mother-daughter relationship. But so yeah, it's so thank you for bringing that into the room, because I think I just think it's going to be a really cool journey to see for season 2.
Yeah, man.
Yay. So what have you been up to since wrapping Avocado Toast? And like, you know, we had a couple months where there was normal life, and then we've
Mhm.
into a pandemic. And what have you been shaking with?
Oh my gosh. It's been a very weird year.
It has.
That Avocado Toast finished, and right, yeah, it was like right at the start of COVID, and then auditions sort of stopped coming in. Initially, I was getting a visa together to be eligible for work in the States. Yeah. Not that I wanted to move there. I always have to sort of give that, make the differentiation. I didn't want to move to the States. I just wanted to be eligible to work.
Someone called that were like, we have a part for you in the US, you would have no hesitation. You could just be there.
Yeah. Then COVID happened, then George Floyd happened, and then election stuff started happening, and it had me real depressed.
Mhm.
And I stopped the application altogether. I think I was like 90% of the way there, and I was like, I don't even want to think about it right now.
Right.
Heidi had very early on in the year asked me if I wanted to write season 2 with you guys, which I was like super stoked on.
Yeah.
And the short that I showed you guys, Diversity Hire, Heidi and Charlie offered to help me develop it into a series, which is still pretty much ongoing. I had like no thought at all in my head of it ever being like an actual show concept.
Right.
Because I wrote it, I think I wrote it in like 30 minutes at at a second cup.
Wow.
As a part of it was like a writing competition.
Okay.
So that I was sort of working on. So I was working on writing stuff, and the pandemic really.
Can I ask if people can watch the short? Because I've seen it, but is there a link?
Oh yeah. Initially there wasn't a link because it was streaming in festivals and stuff, but now I've allowed a friend to post it on his channel. So it's on YouTube. It's called Game Time Comedy.
Okay.
So that's where like there's like an open link for everyone to watch it on that YouTube page.
Okay, great. I will put that in the show notes of Game Time Comedy on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's called Diversity Hire.
Yeah, it's not my channel, but I just was like, it's not on anything right now, and I'll give that over.
It's all good.
So this year, basically, you know, I think I had a thought that a lot of other actors had, and I was like, maybe this is just a sign that it's not my future. I genuinely was like, yeah, maybe this is it for acting. I think maybe this year is trying to just tell me to quit it. Because writing had picked up. 22 Minutes was looking to maybe see if I was available to write a few episodes for their show.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so
no official offer yet.
Are you hearing this? 22 minutes? Let's go.
22 minutes. And then I had one audition, like one single self-tape. It was for a show called Feudal. It's a CBC show. It's an hour-long dramedy series. I was like super not down to even do the audition at all. I had a terrible time making it. I had one good take and I sent it off.
Of how many?
What must have been like 40. I think I must have tried to film that self-tape for like 2 hours. And my poor partner, I was like so just not into it. And I ended up getting that. It was like a super long audition process. We did a bunch of callbacks and like a Zoom call here and there.
Wow.
The offer didn't go to me. I waited like probably like 3 weeks to hear back. And this was in June, and I knew it was starting in July. And my agent called me and he was like, yeah, they gave the offer to somebody else.
That's so heartbreaking.
Yeah. And it was at the point I had done like my like fourth callback, and I was like, it's mine.
Yeah.
I have it. It films out in Nova Scotia. So I even, I think every day I was talking to my partner, Kevin, like, theoretically, if we moved to Nova Scotia, for this long, like, what would we do with like the apartment? I got the rejection call, and I basically, I had like a good 10-minute cry in my bathroom.
Good for you. Good for you.
And then for whatever reason, that deal fell through. And then they gave me an offer like maybe like a day or two later.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's my first series lead. It's nuts.
Soon to be one of two, because Avocado Toast, the series lead.
Woo!
So when you got that rejection, because sometimes that's happened to me where I don't get something, and then it, for whatever reason, does fall in my favor.
Yeah.
Was there like a part of you that was like, no, this is still like, there's something like you, or were you just like hopeless immediately and you were like,
I was like pretty immediately hopeless, because so here's the thing. This has happened to me. This is like, I don't know how many times this has happened to me, but it's happened to me a lot. And 2 times specifically. One was Schitt's Creek.
okay.
I auditioned for Patrick for Schitt's Creek.
Oh wow,
and
what a different direction they went in. Holy crap.
Oh yeah, I did Patrick, but I looked not like, I like pinned my hair back and like parted it, and I like came in like a suit.
Right.
And I did like many auditions for Patrick, and then ended up getting a meeting and a chemistry read with Dan Levy. My agent called me to tell me that, and I was like pumped. I think he called me on a Thursday, and he was like, it's on Sunday. And I was like so ready. I was working at a furniture store. I like left early for the day because I was like, I have to go and prepare. Sorry, everybody. And then like 2 hours after I got that phone call, he called me again, and he basically was like, they canceled it. Eugene Levy like said no.
God.
And I was crushed, because that year I just had so much emotionally like banking on it.
Yeah.
And I was super crushed. I got my passport taken the same day, and my passport photo, even to this day, looks like this.
Just sad face. Just a
I got
sad face.
Yeah, huge sad face. And then I did a year or two later, I did the pilot for the Bold Type. And I was supposed to be a recurring character for the Bold Type. It was sort of like sort of a different version of Jordan, kind of, except he was like a little bit of a bitch.
Okay.
Jordan's like very sweet, but like this, yeah. And I was doing that show. I think I was let go for a few reasons. I was not like great to be around on set, because I was going through family issues.
Oh.
Like I got a call on the GO train over that like my brother was in jail. And I had to like process that for the 2 weeks that I was doing the pilot.
Oh my God.
And I think I just got very weird, because I talk about my life like it's nothing, but I just was so afraid I had to be professional, and people like, oh, like, how you doing today? And you'd be like, good. And I loosened up by the end, but I just think it just like wasn't my show, like wasn't my time. It just wasn't working for a lot of reasons, but I hoped that I would still get on the series and sort of prove myself, and they let me go.
Oh.
So I just now I'm very pessimistic, even when it comes to my 3rd round of auditions.
Right.
I don't expect anything. I think I was emotional about Feudal, because it was like the only thing I was banking on this year because of COVID.
Yeah.
I was working a copywriting job part-time that I hated, and it was paid next to nothing. And I just was like, you sort of glorify stuff as a way out.
Yeah.
As a way to like solve all your problems.
And I think you're like this, like you just need a win sometimes, you know, like
Yeah.
you feel like, and when you get that far, you're like, oh, this is my silver lining. This is the thing that's
Yeah.
turned my year around. And I mean, it is
Yeah.
doing that, but I think, yeah,
Oh
initially,
yeah, I just needed like a real confirmed win. I mean, at the time, you guys asked me to write Avocado Toast, but then also for COVID, trying to figure that stuff out, and for scheduling, like our start was delayed,
Mhm.
so I didn't even have anything really to like write to preoccupy my time.
Right.
But yeah, in not getting it, like I had a quick cry, and I was very much just like, okay.
Okay. Like,
Yeah, I just was
yeah.
like, you know what? I think I know who. I have a couple of names in my head of people who might have gotten it, and good for them.
Yeah.
And getting the rejection, I feel actually really primed me to do well when I got there.
Because you were that much more grateful, like that kind of thing,
Yeah, I think it was just like,
or it released something.
yeah, it just released this like need to do well. I was like, well, you know what? If I'm crap and I'm not good, like you don't have any other choices beyond me.
Right.
So you're stuck with me for the season. The contract's already locked in. Like you have me for 4 seasons if we make it that far. So
Yeah.
like
Oh,
I
God.
think if I got it right away, I would have been very tense the,
Okay.
the entire time on set. I would have been really, really like,
Yeah.
yeah.
In that sort of vein, like, I mean, you sort of talked about it a little bit with both, like, you know, the sort of letdowns and the successes of what that is. Do you feel every time you have something that like really lets you down, or like something that you're like, oh, like you were saying you weren't, and to no fault of your own, that it was, you know, not your best step forward on the Bold type set,
Hmm.
but like, do you have things that you feel like you've been able to reflect on and say like, that's something that didn't work, but it's like then caused a success for me later on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm like a huge believer that like everything happens for a reason, and like as long as you just keep putting in the work,
Yeah.
um, it'll eventually pay off.
Yeah.
Even this year, like a lot of my friends are just very much like, "How are you doing this? Like, how'd you get into like writing?" And I'm just like, I just had to do it.
You just keep, that's all
Um,
the thing, right? You just keep doing.
yeah. And I genuinely believe that going that far for Schitt's Creek got me in the room for Feudal. Ever since that audition, I auditioned for quite a few CBC things, and not that I got everything, but it gave them, I think, an awareness of who I am as a person. So yeah, like I think all the failures sort of worked out a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer with that too, that there's a reason, and obviously you have to put the work in, like you can't just kind of sit back and let it happen. But I think that
Yeah.
the ships that you're meant to be on won't sail without you. And
Yeah.
I just think that that's a good way of looking at it, because there are so many disappointments in this business, whether you're in front of the camera or writing or, you know, whatever.
Yeah. It's a hard answer to give people. I have a lot of friends, even all the way from last year, even a few years ago, but especially now during COVID, now that our industry is in so much peril.
Mhm.
I have a lot of friends who feel super let down and heartbroken by the industry,
Mhm.
even pre-COVID.
Mhm.
Um, and I hate to be that asshole who now has work and is like, well, you just gotta do your best. But it's the only advice I can ever tell people. Uh, of just like, dude, I get it. I
Mhm.
had years where I auditioned and I got nothing.
Yeah.
But in those years, like, my agent was the one who always told me, like, you cannot wait and just sit by the phone and expect stuff to happen.
No.
Like, you have to be willing to just put yourself out there, even if you feel really embarrassed to do it.
Mhm.
You need to just like start like making your own stuff and collaborating with your friends, and be willing to share it.
Yeah. That's what you did on set. Like, I know it would have been terrifying to like, you know, throw out those little ad libs that you were doing, but it's what made us
Yeah.
kind of all turn our heads. And I think like sometimes there's just something in you that is like, I got to do this. I have to, like something else is speaking for you that somehow, you know, it's gonna.
Yeah. And after, it's so funny. I thought I had unlocked this huge secret after I like made my first few shorts. But then I realized, like, as I even, you know, as I, you know, met you and Heidi, and even the people that I met on set at Feudal, all the people I know who are doing well right now are the people who were brave enough to put themselves out there and to just go, you know what, I'm tired of like waiting by the phone, and I'm tired of, you know, being at the mercy of casting directors.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna like stop taking myself so seriously and just, you know, make my own stuff.
That's exactly it. What do you think, as I mean, because you're a writer as well, as an actor, what for you makes a really good TV show or film? What makes you want to keep watching?
For me, I'm so invested in well-rounded characters. I feel like if you know your characters inside and out, you know their vulnerabilities, and you know, you're even as a writer, you're willing to sort of put a little bit of yourself in each one you create.
Yeah.
The story just flows, and I feel like you have less doubt when you're writing. You know, your plot is so much stronger. That's sort of really what I look for in a great script, is just vulnerability. And it's why I just was so in love with Avocado Toast, because when I read it for the first time, I just was like, wow, this is not this, you know, you have ideas about comedy web series of just like each episode is going to be like a little shtick, and you know, I've, you know, watched web series like that before, and I just was like, this is not just like a bunch of 10-minute gag episodes. These guys are really talking about things that me and my friends, you know, talk about on an almost daily basis. And, you know, they're not afraid to get emotional and talk about their frustrations with their parents and frustrations in love. So that's what I sort of think about. I'm currently helping someone. He asked me for help in writing a really short, like 5-episode web series.
Amazing.
And it's like the one thing it's his first time writing.
Okay.
That's the one thing I'm trying to give him to take away with. And his thing is like, yeah, but like, is it funny? Like, is this joke funny? And I'm just like, it'll be funny when it's honest. Stop like worrying about the puns or like the punchline. Like, we can fix that later. There's the last thing you should be worrying about right now.
That's such honest, like that's on it, to have it be honest. That's what makes it funny. I think that's so cute. And it's true, because I think we it's the thing. It's like, it's funny because it's true. Like that's what we relate to, you know?
Yeah. So that's the takeaway, I think.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. And was there, did you, based on that, did you have like a favorite character or in the show? Does it start with a J? Does it end with an N?
Okay, because I was like, you're gonna get me in trouble with your counterpart. I'm gonna be like,
no!
Oh, you mean Molly or Elle?
No,
no, I'm just kidding.
No.
JK.
Was there because being on set is watching it back, obviously, like, and like, oh my god, I love that person. Like, you can totally say Elle. It's totally cool. No, but really, like, what sort of were you surprised by somebody that you were like, oh, I didn't think I was gonna relate to that person?
Yeah, I did. 3 in particular.
Cool.
I'm gonna say in like no particular order.
Okay.
Brenda Robbins, who plays your mom on the show, really surprised me. Not that she should have, because she's a huge esteemed like theater actress.
Yes.
But I would also say surprised as sort of a testament to you and Heidi's writing, honestly.
Thank you.
What I saw on set was really just a lot of the comedy that Brenda had to sort of do.
Yeah.
That was a lot of the scenes between, you know, that Jordan was in. Watching Brenda be just a mother who is just really genuinely confused and looking for a way in to her kid's heart.
Yeah, wow.
Really, really touched me. I relate to that on like such a huge level, because I'm really, really close with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And it was incredible to kind of watch her go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you and Heidi were obviously amazing, but there was a scene in particular that I was watching this show and I was like, oh my God. And you basically have Elle basically has a breakdown in front of her date.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I was like shocked because I was like, this is so real. And I feel like I have this moment once a month. But it was like, but the way that scene was written, it was so genuine. I don't know how much of that was really a reflection of anything that you've gone through in your own life. I can only assume yes, because it was so like striking. And then it immediately goes back into this sort of comedy moment about this horrible dinner that she is being served.
Carrots and plain rice.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there was no like weak performance in the show, but I really like as a viewer, I really connect with Elle. I see the most of her, I see the most of myself in her. Because I think I'm someone who is to a degree sort of addicted to work.
Right.
And sometimes that can get very much in the way of my personal life, you know, especially my friendships, which is something that I'm trying to be better about. Corona's making it hard, but
Yeah.
yeah, Elle is, you know, everybody was very endearing, but Elle was a character that I was like, yeah, fuck, like I get that.
Right. And I think
Yeah.
there's like a huge part of that sometimes we miss things in our lives or, you know, are so distracted by things because it's easier to do that than go into that like emotional aspect of what is actually going on.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I think sometimes when our lives get shaken, which is actually, you know, genuinely what happened to me personally, which is why I wanted to write that. But I think that that's actually what added to it for me is in that character, you know? So yeah, I think that's really cool that you relate to that because I think that that's a huge thing that people don't always talk about is that, you know, emotions are real.
Yeah, man.
I bury them, but they're gonna come up.
Yeah, I'd always tell people it's my biggest deflector. I'd always tell people that, you know, like if there's ever a funeral and I'm, you know, I'm burying someone close to me, I'm the one making the arrangements and like doing the planning because I have to like keep busy or because I just don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, it had such a huge effect on my acting because I just could not be sad. I took an acting class and it was so hard for me to project sadness that whenever I felt it come up, I got nauseous and I vomited one class because I was so uncomfortable with sadness.
Oh my gosh.
And then I vomited and then I let it all out and I like sobbed for weeks and now I sob at commercials and movies and like my, you know, the dog that I see when I'm taking a walk down like
oh my God, that's so symbolic and amazing though. Like wow, like you actually needed to like physically get something out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
can relate to that. I couldn't cry on stage or in front of a camera for a very long time. And I like same thing. I was like, you're being very sad.
Push.
Yeah. Oh, you don't buy it? You don't buy it?
Yeah,
Weird.
no.
I buy it.
But yeah, so watching Elle all the way through the series, all the way up until that huge moment where she realizes that she's actually not as okay as she made herself out to believe.
Yes.
I was like, dude, that like totally understand.
Wow. Well, thank you for that. That's really cool. Just from a writing standpoint, it means a lot to have, I think, and you would agree, like having someone reflect back what exactly you were trying to portray is like, so that's amazing. Amazing. Well, Alex, I just think you're the most wonderful human, and I'm so glad that you're a part of our team. And I'm so excited to see what Feudal does for you and for CBC, and I just can't wait to see it.
Oh, thank you.
What are your Instagram handles for people to follow?
Yeah, you can catch me on Instagram at Alex Joe Nunez. And yeah, don't follow me on Twitter.
Every time I've tried to tag you in a Twitter post, I'm like, where is he? Remember what that handle is.
Yeah, it's the longest thing ever. It's like Alexander _JNUN. But it's so not actory, and I just shared stupid jokes.
It's great.
So follow me on Instagram.
Everyone's gonna follow you on Twitter as soon as Feudal comes out. So
I did a full from like now till like 2014 of like, am I gonna get canceled for anything that I've ever said? Answer was
smart.
no.
I should have done that maybe. The answer is no. Good for you.
Yeah.
I just
thank you.
Stupid shit all the time, so I relate to that. Yeah.
Yeah,
well, thank
you for having me.
Oh my God, thank you so much for being a part of this little podcast project and our show. And I just can't wait to work with you again in the new year whenever we can figure out a COVID-friendly set.
Oh God, same baby. Same.
Thank you so much for listening.
And thank you to Ontario Creates for the support to make Avocado Toast the Series podcast possible. You can pick your player to watch all 10 episodes of Avocado Toast the Series at www.avocadotoasttheseries.com.
We'd also love to give a huge shout out to Russell Lauder for the use of their beautiful song, Cost of Living. You can find more of their music sprinkled throughout the episodes of our web series, as well as on Spotify, Bandcamp, and iTunes, and links to their social media